We're stuck at the side of the road. It's dodgy AF. And no one's. So all hooked up. The mighty 1.3 Sunny towing the mighty 4.2 V8. I think the high pressure fuel pumps have gone. I've scanned the code. Just got to hopefully get it off the road now and then come get a bit of a stronger car to come pick her up. I'll go grab the triangle and fingers crossed we can get back in one piece. Safety first. The absolute beast of a Lexus getting me home. Had a scan, Pico 3048 I think it was, and we're pretty sure, spoke to a few guys that I know, pretty sure it's the in-tank fuel pump rather than the high pressure fuel pump, which is good news because they're about a tenth of the price. So we've got to get rear seat out, and then underneath the rear seat there's the access to the fuel pump. So as soon as we can get this out, we can get access to fuel pump, put ignition on, have a feel. If it's not whirring away, then we know we've got a problem, and hopefully it's just the fuel pump. Rear seat's out. That was a nice easy job. We just need to unscrew these three here to get this panel out. Once we've got the panel out, then we've got access to the pump and we'll be able to hear whether it's running or not. Should be able to do it without this, but ultimately I'm probably going to have to take this out anyway, so for the sake of taking a few screws out, it's easy enough to do. So as you can see, we've got that off, we've got access to the pump now, which is good news. So we just got to check that it's not working, and then as soon as it's not working, then we can order a replacement. We've managed to get the pump out. Just need to disconnect a couple of the connectors to allow us to take it out fully, and then we can test whether the pump's faulty by putting 12 volts over it. And if the pump's faulty, then we can order a new one of these. You may as well order the fuel pump, and we'll just reseal it back up with a lid. Make sure there's no air leaks into it to allow the fuel to evaporate or potentially cause a fire in here. As you can see, we have the pump out. Now, the pump itself is in this section, and there's two cables that come in from here down and into the pump itself. So what we can do is put positive and negative across here or directly onto here, and we can hear to see if the pump's turning over. If the pump's turning over, then we know there's actually maybe something wrong with the car, but I suspect it's actually this open circuit here. Not ideal, but you work with what you've got. Just going to check that there's definitely 12 volts going to here. So as you can see, we've definitely got over 12 volts, 13 volts, that's absolutely fine. And you can see that the pump isn't moving. So there we have it. We're pretty sure the pump's failed. There's no 100% way to make sure, but the fact that the pump's not turning on when you put 12 volts directly to it is a pretty strong indicator. Luckily we've got a part number on top of this pump, so we'll be able to order a new one. What I'll probably do is try not to spill fuel everywhere, but what I'll probably do is take the top off this and just put it back in, so we've got a sealed unit, there's no risk of loss, and then go from there. We'll get the next one on order, and then hopefully watch me fit it, and we'll be back on the road.
3 weeks later.
Finally, back at the car. I've been away in Scandinavia, so I haven't been able to work on the car. Fuel pump is now here, so we can get it fitted into the tank, prime the fuel pump, and then take it for a spin. And fingers crossed, it's all good. We've got all our power back, and then we can get on to the real modifications, not just fixing the car. There's a marker here to where the fuel pump actually sits into, so you can't really install it in the wrong place, which is quite handy. So we'll pop this back on, wind the top back on, and then get it all plugged back in. Free ignition on now, should be able to hear that pump prime. Let it prime a couple of times just to get the fuel through, and then when we key on, we should start. That is a really good sound. Yes! That is what we want to hear. That's made my day. 127 quid. Brand new Bosch OEM part in the car. It's not a difficult fix to put in. It just fired up, no problems. I was really worried it was going to be high pressure fuel pump. Looking at the code, speaking to a few guys at work, we were pretty sure it was a tank pump. So while I was away, got one ordered and happy days. And obviously we've checked it. We've done a 12 volt over the pump and it didn't even spin up. So this is the best we could ask for. Parking sensors are gone. That's another job for another day. Main thing was getting the car running, and so far it's running. Brakes are going to be rusty because it's been sat here for 2 weeks, so you'll hear some grunching and whatnot, but not worried about that. Definitely got the power, which is good. On the right track. I'm just happy that it's running. I was worried, really worried it's going to be high pressure fuel pumps, which are 300 quid a pump for non-OEM ones, and I dread to think what OEM ones cost. I'm going to be stuck behind a tractor, so there won't be any nice quick driving, but we can prove out the pump's working, engine's running, and then we can really focus on modifications now. So we've already got the wheel spacers on. There'll be a video about that at some point, where we'll talk about what wheel spacers do, and then we've also just purchased a nice new modification which might make the V8 a bit more V8y. I'm excited for this one. I was sad because the fuel pump broke, so I went and bought a fun thing for the car. And I just looked at the time. That fuel pump, from dropping my daughter off at nursery to coming back to getting the fuel pump out, the old one, which obviously part did anyway, and putting the new one in and priming the fuel pump, took less than 45 minutes. And of course you could strip the old pump down, take the old pump unit, so the old pump unit out of the pump, but really you'll end up breaking plastic clips because it's old plastic. It submerged in petrol, becomes brittle. That's even if you can find the pump. I'm sure you could do. And then what happens about the filters, because the filters will degrade and everything, all the wiring will degrade. So you might save £50 doing it, but really in the grand scheme of things, for another £70 on top, £80 on top, stick a brand new pump in, and then at least you know the whole unit is new. The sensor for your float, so how full the tank is or how empty the tank is new. All the filters are new, all the wiring's new. It just makes sense, really. I'm super happy. Car's back up and running. Really easy job, inexpensive, and it now means we can focus on more performance-related mods, maybe some handling mods. We can also look at maybe buying another project. We'll see if I can persuade the wife. We've got my wife's project behind, which we haven't really touched on, but that's a fairly big one. It'll be a full respray, which I'll do in the garage, and then right behind you, which I won't give you a sneak peek of, is something my friend's been working on for the channel, a big sign that's backlit, which will be going onto the wall, so we'll do sort of a really cool wall in the garage, which I'm really excited for. So keep your eyes peeled. If you like the content, subscribe and like, and see you next time.
I'm new, come back better than last year. It's a new me, never gonna look back.